So I'm always impressed when someone doesn't make a lot of money and they're able to basically save and invest and just have a lot overall, because that's impressive. Sometimes you find people that they make a lot of money, but they used to spend all their money. Now they have the stuff together and they're able to do a lot of good things, which is awesome. But someone that doesn't make enough whatsoever and just been working hard on something for a long time, that's always impressive to me. Okay, so how can you maximize saving the most money possible when you are on a low income? Now, my example is going to be basically my grandma. My grandma has never earned above $1,000 a month. And you might say, Tommy, well, your grandma comes from a different time, different place, country, and so on. You're right. My grandma is actually, I'll tell you, like, the not so great things people usually say and mention as excuses. My grandma is actually illiterate, meaning she can't read. My grandma had 10 kids, and the only thing my grandma could actually do is basically count. All right, she was very good at counting. All right, now my grandma today, years later, has 3 properties, all paid off, 2 receives rental income from, and she basically lives debt free from passive income and doesn't have to worry about having a job for a very, very long time. And this lady is extremely frugal, and that's something we should all try to actually aspire to. And she lives the quality of life that she enjoys living. All right, now that's what I actually want for you guys in this video. So in this video, I'll teach you 3 of the lessons that I actually learned from my grandma very early on to hopefully help you guys with this whole thing also. Now, as always, guys, like this video and top out also subscribe if you're brand new to the channel. Now, the very first thing, guys, by the way, it's a very simple video because usually truths are also very simple. Now, the first thing is going to be, guys, okay, you have to start with what you have. A lot of people think, for example, the only way I'm going to be able to save more money is by making more money, but usually your expenses rise to the level of your income if you don't have control over your budget, over your money overall. Okay, so a simple rule that I basically use is try to live on 70 to 90% of your income, and that gives you room to basically save money for 30 to 10% of your income. All right, that's the general idea, and you do this when you get paid. The minute you get paid, you take that money, you set it aside for savings. This way, you're not waiting until the end of the month, once you're done with all your bills or whatever's left over, then you invest that. The answer is no, you save and invest from the very beginning, and whatever's left over, that's what you actually use for saving money. Now, obviously, in order to actually live on less than you make, you're going to have to basically spend less than you make. So making some adjustments to your budget is going to be necessary. So most people try to focus on, for example, Tommy, I stopped drinking coffee, I stopped buying food and stuff like that. And it kind of sounds pretty good. It's actually pretty awesome, honestly, but it's not the only thing. And it's actually not the biggest thing. All right. So what you really want to do is you want to focus on the big ticket items on your budget, like shelter, utilities, groceries, transportation. Those are the big 4 that people usually spend the most money on. For example, I was looking on rents, okay? And I saw, for example, if I want to get an apartment in Manhattan, a 2-bedroom, it's going to be around $5,000. If I say that's too much money, how about the Bronx? Well, in the Bronx, it's going to be around $2,400. And if I say, well, that's too much money still, if I go to Connecticut, it's going to be around roughly $1,500 for a 2-bedroom apartment. My point is, guys, there's always a way to save money. It usually involves some inconvenience in a sense, but there's a way to go about saving money. I'd rather save, for example, $3,500 on shelter than, for example, try to cut coffee, try to cut this, try to cut that, because eventually you can only cut so far until you start bleeding. So the point is, try to save on the big things, okay? And when you save money in the big things, don't use those savings to buy dumb things. Use those savings for actual savings and investing. So start where you are, have a budget, and when you get paid, take that money out immediately for saving and investing. Now, number 2, guys, is lazy money dies. Employed money makes more money. Most people, when they get into the habit of saving, they end up basically spending that money on something stupid like I did a long time ago, okay? You save some money, now you feel like you deserve a present for yourself, and you end up spending that money on whatever it is, okay? The idea is You should be putting your money to work as fast as possible, and you should give your money job, and you should also give your money, for example, a priority, right? So if you have, for example, a company, the company has a mission, the company has priorities, and all those things matter, right? So I give my money 6 different jobs. Job number 1 is emergency. Then you have paying off debt. You have investments. You have expenses. You also have, for example, fun, and you also have charity. Those are the 6 jobs. But then if you try to have, for example, like some envelopes, you label them, those 6 jobs, and you say, I'm going to put 10% here, 30% here, you kind of split yourself too thin. So it's very important that although you have these jobs for money, you also have priorities. So you know exactly where to focus most of your money and most of your efforts. So for me, it's going to be first you pay off debts. Once you're done with that, save for emergencies. Once you're done with that, you start to invest money. My personal best investment is the S&P 500, which is basically the largest 500 companies in the US, and I invest that money with Vanguard. Big company, been around for a long time, massive, great customer service. And you try to pay off a home in 15 years or less. That's the idea. By getting a mortgage, that's 15 years. That's no more than a third of your monthly net income. This way, you limit the purchase price of what you're actually looking to buy. Most people, they think about the payments per month. No, you want to focus on how much does this cost overall, all right? So when you give your money a job, give your money priorities, you won't have any money that's just basically wandering around. No, every dollar is accounted for, and you know exactly where to put it to work. Now, here's the third thing I basically learned from my grandma, just like some general tips, okay? Number 1, the price of money is expensive. When you're working a normal job, it costs you hours to make money. So whenever you waste money, whenever you put your money into a risky investment and it goes downhill, those are hours you will never get back. Number 2, you basically want to use money, right, to buy the things you need first until you have enough money to buy the things you basically want. And also, you want to constantly keep learning about new techniques about how to save money. For example, for a long time, I have a dishwasher, right? And I was using these little things you actually buy at Costco, and they cost like $20, $30. Okay, so every wash is like almost like 50 cents or like $1.50, I think it was. And in reality, I could just make my own with some baking soda and some other like dishwasher soap thing. Okay, so the idea is be alert. Like I know it's like small things here, but small things add up. So be alert about how you can save money around your home. And there are a ton of videos on YouTube about small techniques to actually use to save money. So some tactics I used early on were I used to use envelopes to actually save my money so you can physically see it grow. I also used to buy my clothes at Goodwill and just buy everything used. This way you actually save money that way. And you know, that's basically about it. So when it comes to money, try to be innovative when it comes to saving money, especially when you don't have a lot of it and when you don't have a lot of prospects to make more money. And by the way, you could always just get, for example, another part-time job. In the sense of like, if you're working a full-time job, you're working 8 hours, and then now you're done from 5 to 10 or 5 to 11, you're going to be like using that. What are you going to use those 6 hours for? Well, take 2 hours and go work something out there, or 3 or 4 hours, and then have like an hour rest a day, plus your sleep, right? It's uncomfortable, it's not nice, but it allows you to be able to reach your financial goals a little faster with a little discomfort, okay? That is the idea. That is what I learned. And it took years, okay? That's another thing, okay? You have to get very good with delayed gratification. It took years for my grandma to be able to basically buy her first home, to build the other one, and then to build the other one, right? Those things take a long time. And you have to understand that, okay? The average millionaire, they're in their 50s. So if you're in your 20s or 30s or even 40s watching this video, you have decades to actually go. So be patient with yourself and just do things step by step, little by little. That is the idea. As always, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like, subscribe, hit the bell to get notified. Any questions, comment them down below. Up here is another video. Over here is my face. And as always, long-term team officially out.